All right, gang, we are live. Welcome to the world of Hearthrun. I'm your host, storyteller, and dungeon master, Bilbo. Come join us as we travel through the tales from the Yawning Portal. This is the first episode of the Shrine of Tamoachan. The plan is to play the same characters through each of these adventures in Yawning Portal. Hence, we've been through the Sunless Citadel. We just finished with Forge of Fury last week. And now we are about to go into the shrine here. We'll level up characters accordingly and finish with the Tomb of Horrors. Currently, most characters are between, well, they are all either 4th or 5th level going into the shrine here, so it's perfect. That worked out. So, come join us as we travel through these old school dungeon crawls. And for our recap, why don't we have the star of last episode of Forge of Fury, Zazriel, give us a recap of what happened last episode, where we're at.
Alright, so last episode we had the battle of the winged creatures, and we had Cal Crick start off by fighting, what was Shadow Smite, or Nightshade? Nightscale?
Nightscale.
Yeah, Nightscale. So Nightscale versus Calicryx's battle. Well, Zazriel was helping out while our other comrades were fighting a bunch of Dugers. And they ended up wiping them out. And it was Zazriel, Erebus, and El as they took on Nightscale. And Nightscale did not want to come out and play. Oh, and Kit, the Black Dragonborn, who was fighting her ancestors. And we took on the Nightscale Dragon, but not doing so well as it was hiding in its home. And luckily it came out one time trying to escape with its treasure. And Zazriel was able to strike it down twice with 2 very powerful arrows as she was in her angel form. And ended up killing Nightscale. And as we took out Nightscale, Erebus climbed the ceiling, trying to be the rogue he is. I will not comment on how successful he was with that. El blinked over onto the land, and we collected all the treasure, holy systeming it across the land, because it was a very trickery trying to get it all back. And then we skinned the Nightscale Dragon and brought its hide back up top, and we cleaned out the place, stayed there for a day or two searching for the remaining hand axe that we could not find until we finally were ready to leave the place and searched the first level for the last time before we left. And so we left the temple, the forge, with all 4 weapons, achieving our mission that we once set upon. And we headed back to the city, and the dwarves were very pleased with what we had done. And we got our loot and got prepared for the Shrine of Tamoachan, which we know nothing about.
Yeah, she says it all prepared for it if you don't know anything about it. And actually, we're going to have to get into why he was going to come with it, try and come with the group.
Oh, so wait, you're going to try to convince us?
Oh, yeah.
So, we don't have to take you with if we don't want to?
No, you take it.
You're with it.
Okay.
I can only get an inspiration die. So.
Alright, so inspiration die. Probably you'll need it tonight.
I already have one, so.
Alright, there you go. So,
I have 2 and I have 3 cards.
alright, we're good. We're talking about each other's cards.
Yeah.
And
We're good.
stuff.
We're fine. He's always going to entice me.
Yeah,
It's always him.
I know.
Never me,
It's
guys.
us. It's us. It's
Yeah.
us. He does it
Yes, I
too.
know.
He does it too.
So when I listen back to the recordings, I just keep hearing it. So, currently the group has returned from a successful journey, mapping the Forge of Fury and recovering the weapons for the dwarf Turlum, who is part of the guild here. A month has passed here. While you guys are in Baker's View, you've had some magic items made or acquired for you to help you with your journeys and unload your pockets of all the treasure that you got from the Sunless Citadel and Forge of Fury. And now some of your pockets are drained, which is good because Durham has called on all of you for a new mission for the guild. And so he brings you all into the tavern, sit down with him, and
You see him in the group?
and Torns with the group, yes. And he says that guild has been very impressed with your last 2 missions for the guild and would like to send you out on another rescue mission. We currently sent a group to explore an ancient ruined, lost city that happened, that reappeared during a recent earthquake in the south. There were 4 guild members that went there. 2 humans. One is named Troy Land. Another's name is Sadig. They were archaeologists for the guild. We wanted them to go and explore this ancient ruined city that is now risen. There was a dwarven warrior that escorted them for safety. His name was Jory. And there was an elven wizard named L'Oreal. We haven't heard from them in a week since they set up base camp right outside this lost city. The guild can teleport you to the base camp and will give you a stone with a sending spell to use once you find the 4 lost guild members and return to the base camp with them. If you guys are willing to accept this mission, we will pay each of you 1,000 gold pieces. Also, anything you find in there, if there's any artifact, if you go into the city and you find any artifacts, we will either buy them from you unless you want to keep them for yourself. But we'll buy them, the guild will buy any artifacts you may find.
So humans were Troy Lane and who?
Sadig.
What if we don't?
If you what?
What if we don't?
If you don't want to go,
Yeah.
then we'll find somebody else in the guild to go.
Oh.
Alright,
Well, I feel like putting you there, so I'm gonna say yeah.
I take the sending stone and hand it. I take the sending stone and hand it to Elle and say, "Yes, we will gladly take this mission, and you can teleport us there whenever you'd like."
All right. So
Do you don't know anything about this place though? What's surrounding it or anything?
So what little I know is that it's some ancient lost city from 1,000 years ago, or maybe even beyond that, that has all of a sudden resurfaced from some earthquake that happened down in the south. An old ancient people live there, civilization. That's why we sent 2 archaeologists to kind of explore there and see what they could find out for us. However, as I said, we haven't heard from them since they arrived. They set up base camp, and then we haven't heard from them for a week.
All right, well, we'll go save your our fellow guild members.
All right.
As long as you guys would like to. Is everybody on board?
Yes.
Sounds good.
Silence sounds good.
I'm up for it.
I said yeah.
Okay. So
Focus, Star. Focus.
Wait, I'm just asking, would I be able to find a place where they can restore my age during the time or not?
I know you're an old man for life.
No, man,
Maybe
what's
like
a
a
month?
prince.
Why'd you wait a month to ask that question?
Yeah, you could ask that this
No.
whole month.
he says, I have no idea on restoring your age. I thought this is how old you were.
It's
I
okay,
mean,
Chuck.
you're restoring
It
your
suits
age.
him.
A ghost, scared the life out of me.
Chuck, it suits you very
The
well.
ghost did this?
Yes.
Then I would, in my adventuring experience, I don't think you can be cured. So, I think you're older now. Maybe you'll find something that you can live for a long, long time and never age.
Guess you're looking for the
Will there be archaeologists there? At
Huh?
the camp, that main camp?
That's who we sent. Those two of those, Troy Lamb and Big, were the archaeologists.
There's no more archaeologists though.
No, the base camp was their camp. Their camp, their 4. So they set up a base camp, and that's when we heard from them last that they had found the city, and they were going to explore it, and that's the last we heard.
How long ago was that?
A week ago.
Huh.
So.
Was the civilization human?
I'm not sure if they're human or not.
What were they called before?
From what I understand, they were called the Olmens.
What is this temple or place called?
I don't know. Maybe you can discover that when you're there.
We should be on our way.
All right. So he'll wave on an older dwarf that is sitting in the corner, and he says, "This is Brynar," and he says, "Why don't we go into the back room here?" And so you guys go into the back room, and there's this on the ground, drawn and on the ground, kind of burnt, really, in the floor of the place. You guys, some of you guys would assume that this is probably a teleportation circle. And
Right, we're in the back of the Yawning Portal. Right now.
yeah,
Chuck, if you go inside this, you keep aging.
and the old dwarf, he's white beard, bald on the top, kind of he's a stout dwarf, not too fat, but he's old. He's in dwarven years. He's probably, well, in human years, he's probably about 60 years old. And he says, "My name's Brynar, and I'm the one that will teleport you there to the base camp. And then with the stone, who has the stone?"
I do.
So the stone, when you're ready to get out of there, when you return to the base camp with them, the sending will come to me, and then I'll come back and get you.
Should we contact you in a certain time period before? Like, should we, when we're leaving the
The
city?
stone only works one time.
All right, cool. I just wanted to.
So that's it. You get one use for it. So you want to use it when you're ready to come back here.
Can you tell us where this place is in relation to yours? Should we not be able to contact you for something?
Yes. So it's way south from here. It's in the on map, sorry. Wait a minute, that's Sharon. There we go. All right. Yes.
Been there, done that.
So it's in what we call the Dead Knolls jungle. It's south of here. You've been to the Oakhurst. You guys are Oakhurst, right? You guys were the ones that did that Sunless Citadel for the guild, right?
Yep.
So from there, it's about. You have to go through the jungle there and then through some mountains. But you want to go northeast from this ruined city, and it'll probably take by foot, I don't know, probably 4 to 6 days, depending on how you're going out of there. But you want to go northeast, and that should run you into Oakhurst, or you might find the Citadel again. If worst case, if you really get lost, if you want, what you can do is just go directly north from the ruins, and then you'll hit Cutter's Bay, and then just follow the coastline to Mount Baker's View. Worst case.
Okay.
Worst case, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And are there particular things that they described that they are seeking? Or was this purely discovery?
This was purely discovery. And all they did was cleared from when the last sending that L'Oreal sent me was that they were cutting down some of the jungle to make a path from their base camp into the city. And that was the last I heard from them.
So what they ran across, we don't know. What they were looking for in particular, and
yeah, I can't get a hold of L'Oreal. I've tried to do sending to her, so I'm not sure if she's dead or she's underground somewhere, unconscious. I'm not sure.
And if we find them alive, obviously bring them back alive. If they are dead.
If they are dead, then, try to do what you can with their bodies, lay them at rest, and then just, like I said, just return to base camp, and then I can get you out of there.
Okay.
We may do some exploring.
Yeah, explore away. Hopefully you find them.
If you haven't heard from us in a couple days, feel free to contact.
Yeah, if I haven't heard from you in a week, I'll be doing the same thing. So. We'll send another group probably. Look for you guys.
Well, that would not be necessary.
So your name is L? What's your name?
Zazriel.
Zazriel. And what's your name? He points at Kit. What's your name?
Katara.
Katara, alright. And then what's your name, Dirty Dwarf? You can say all you want, you're on mute. He doesn't care about you, you're half orc. and you in your book. What's your name? Valiant. All right. So, and what about the one under the robes there? Does he talk at all? Or no.
No.
All right. I won't worry about him. All right. Okay. So first off, we're gonna teleport there. So you have to be willing. First off, to go there. Also, I am gonna have Thorn come with the group, just in case. So I texted him earlier, Joshy, to make sure. I was like, hey, I know he's probably working already when I text him to say, hey, you're gonna join in. So I'm gonna put him in the background. So hopefully he joins next week. If not, then I'm just gonna X him out of the adventure. But hopefully he comes. Huh?
Lucky too?
He says he can't bring Lucky. I can only bring 8. 8 willing people, and that would be the 8 of you.
You saw that Josh said he was to the road, right?
Yeah, I know he's working. I know that. Like I said, I texted for future episodes, but I didn't get a reply from him. And it was late. He was probably driving or on site already working. So he's coming with. I'm gonna bring him in. So he's like, I can only bring 8 of you, which there's 8 of you. And then Jot in your to Erebus is like, hey, how am I gonna get to go?
Just grab onto me. I think he'll come with.
Okay, I'll try that.
I guess he could go in the bag here.
What bag?
It opens the bag. No, I have a bag too.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
All right.
So
All right. But hey, as soon as we get there, get me out of the damn bag.
Of course.
All right. I'll go into bed.
He's like that cat in
All right. Reinhard will say, "Are you all ready?" All right. So he does this ritual here, and circle starts glowing, and he just says, "Everybody, let's just all step in."
Okay, I step in.
Alien watches him closely and tries to knock down what he does.
All
I
right.
step in first.
Perfect.
I step into the circle.
Yeah. Give me an Arcana check.
Oh, give me an Arcana check. You know what happens when you make me do scholarly stuff? I always miss the roll. Yeah, that'll be a 9 total.
All right. So yeah, you're not sure what you wrote down afterwards.
I scribble a bunch of stars and circles on it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Very,
I step into the
very
portal.
courageous guy who ran from a dragon.
All right.
You could have had Torn roll for you.
All right. So you all step in. What fun is that if you're not rolling for yourself? I always say.
Oh, the phone.
So you all step into the teleportation circle, and you appear in this jungle. The base camp that you arrive into is destroyed, with a burned out fire pit that remains. There are a couple of blankets, pots, and pans, along with some sacks. Upon further inspection, the couple of blankets have been, and the sacks have been torn up. And anything once in these bags are gone.
So nighttime?
No, we stay. No. Unless you guys wanted to go at night.
Nope.
Okay, stay. Mid-afternoon.
Alright, cool.
Also, the pots and pans have been scratched up. Looking at them further, you assume that claws of some sort of animal has done all this damage in this camp.
Survival check.
We do a survival check to see what we think it is.
Yeah. And Brian R is going to say, I'm going to head back. 20. And he pops out.
20 for survival.
Uh,
And as this is going on, I'm going to try to help show Erebus what's going on.
Okay.
So Erebus gets advantage.
All right. So you're not sure what it's definitely claw marks. And something probably
Like 4 fingers, 3 fingers.
no, definitely like 4 fingers, like scratch of some sort of animal, probably a 5-fingered or 4-fingered animal. The claw marks aren't deep, but everything's kind of shredded. You definitely think it's a medium-sized creature, but you're not sure what type of creature at all, of course. To the west,
Just one?
no, it's multiple scratches. There's a couple of, just imagine this, a camp. There's a fire pit in the middle that's been burnt out for days.
Yeah.
And around the camp, just thrown about, are a couple of blankets, a few blankets that just seem to be shredded, some sacks that might have held food at one
Do
time.
they lead off to one direction or the other?
Make another survival check.
I'll help.
All right, yeah, you can have that at advantage.
18.
Yes. So you look, and sure enough, they're barefoot prints, multiples, but going a variety of directions from this camp back into this jungle. You're in a heavily wooded jungle here.
So they said they were going to build like a pathway towards the city. Do I see that?
Yes. So to the west, you see through some cut down trees in the jungle, you see what looks to be like an Aztec style pyramid off in the distance, probably about a quarter to a half mile away from where you all stand right now. And so, yeah, you see where they've cut down trees and bushes, and you see off in the distance an opening, and it looks like what you would see an Aztec pyramid in that sense. Probably about 3 or 4 levels high from what you can see in your distance.
All right, we'll go that way.
All right. So you guys start heading that way? All right. So as you head off towards the pyramid, you hear these wild sounds of animals off in the faint distance. As you have to cut down some overgrown weeds and vines and overgrown brush to just kind of help clear the path a little bit more as you guys are going. You start finding large pieces of old stonework protruding from the ground. Dar assumes that this must be old walls or roofs of buildings. And from what he can tell with this stonework, probably over 1,000 years or more that they are, how old they are. There are even parts of, as you guys walk further, there are even parts of stone floors that you notice as you're walking over underneath the brush. Like maybe you're walking on maybe a road or a roof, you know, some sort of building. But you assume you're walking through some sort of overgrown, risen city.
Do I see any like heavy dwarven human footprints going in a certain direction? Are we still in this?
No, make another check. All right, advantage.
A natural one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you definitely, even going through here, the branches off the trees and vines, and you might even find a few footprints. You assume that it's probably about a week old. That you do definitely see that they were definitely cutting a trail out of here. Erebus, can you give me a perception check?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a 17.
Yep, perfect. So as you guys are continuing through this jungle here, you hear these wild animals noises that you guys have been kind of hearing from afar. They seem to be getting louder. And they're from the north and south of you here in the jungle tree. So they're both on both sides of you guys as you are going down this path.
Right.
I'm gonna tap Zaz and point, and then I'm gonna go into stealth.
Is there a tree right nearby?
There's trees all around you.
Right,
It's thick.
I go
It's
up in
thick
the
jungle.
Wait, I see both of you two disappear, and I'm like, okay, I pull out my shield and my
20 athletics to get up the tree.
All right.
I pull out my shield and battle axe, and I get into.
It's midday.
So, well, once I see them two disappear, I like pull out my shield and battle axe and go into defensive position in the center of the road, so I can try and distract them while you guys shoot them.
All right.
Because I can't, because it's gonna be hard for them to hit me while you guys just pick them up.
So now, as you guys are getting ready, as you're seeing this, Dar, what do you do?
Rita was muted there for a second. Dark kind of scratches its head and slips back a little bit and kind of tries to hide just to see what's going to happen here.
That goes well.
Okay. Valiant, what are you doing?
He's not paying attention. He's reading his book.
Perfect. Just walking down the road.
Until a big bear comes and paws.
All right. Kit, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
You're on mute, Kit.
So I just saw the two disappear.
I don't know about Erebus. I know you see Zazriel kind of started climbing up a tree.
And then I'm in like defensive position.
And so you see that, and you see Torn in a defensive position. Valiant just keeps walking. You do hear these sounds, branches cracking, and it seems to be coming from all around you guys.
Dan, I'm just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna flip to Tiger Form.
All right, so you turn into Tiger. All right.
Okay, Tiger next to me.
Hey, Valiant.
Should I put us in position?
Valiant, stop reading your book. Valiant.
Why? What's wrong?
There's animals coming.
There's animals coming.
Yep, you should
I
stop.
just see a tiger.
Oh, there's a tiger.
Yeah, that's not the animal you want to attack. But yeah, watch out. I'd put your back against a tree at least, or do something.
All right, Elle, what do you do?
She's going to move close to Torn and say, now why don't you come over here, really, and we'll keep a central position and let the archers do their job.
All right, Erebus, what are you doing?
I'm gonna follow Zaz's lead. I'm gonna climb a tree.
All right, so you guys are climbing a tree. So as you two are climbing trees, you guys both spot some sort of humanoid, a humanoid jumping from tree to tree now. So they're up in the tree. As you guys are climbing a tree, you guys both notice jumping from tree to tree this humanoid, and then you see another one, and then another. And I need both of you make to perception checks. And you guys are just hearing, the rest of you on the ground are hearing just from both sides, just tree branches moving, you know.
18.
18. Erebus, what did you roll?
Wow. I'm at disadvantage right now, but I still did 24.
Perfect. All right. So you guys, both of you are seeing this. You think there's probably 100 humanoids from both sides coming flying at you in these trees here, just jumping tree to tree. They're adorned in feathers. Their faces are painted with a red streak right down the middle of their face, and their cheeks are white colored. And then, beneath all of you, the ground breaks open. You guys fall, trees and all, go underground, and darkness surrounds all of you, and I need every one of you to make a dex saving throw.
I hate you. I hate you.
I'll take it. Anything to get in the dark.
What?
I may not use my
Dex saving
Natural
throw.
20. Boom.
Okay, I'm going to use my luck card to add a d6 to my saving throw because I don't trust myself. Okay, I need more d6.
All right, so
16 total.
16 total, perfect. L, I got it. Yeah. All right, so 9 for L. Valiant.
16.
And Dar.
19!
Erebus.
18.
Perfect. So the only one that's
Natural
saving throw is L. All right. And what did you roll, L?
A 9 total.
A 9. All right, so perfect. So let me. It's dark. You guys are going. All of a sudden, you're covered in dirt and rock. It's crumbling, and you are sliding through the ground.
Kamikaze style. You just unfold it. What happens to Al?
I land on my feet. Natural 20.
You do not land on your
Natural
feet.
20.
You do not land. You guys are all tumbling in rocks
Cats always land on
and dirt.
So.
However, none of you, except for L, you guys all seem to hit the ground. You're choking on the dirt and mud and some stone dust, but none of you are damaged except for L. And you see L's feet buried underneath a pile of rock and dirt, and she's covered in it. And I'm assuming you guys can pull her. You can pull her out, pull L out. And L, you were gonna just. Luckily, I rolled sucky for damage, so you're only gonna take 1 point of damage. So you're just scraped up a little bit, some scratches,
A dirt bruise.
dirt bruise, and so let me describe as you guys are kind of. It's dark in this
Dark
room
vision.
here. Yes,
Keeper.
you have dark vision.
Adjusting my peepers.
All right. So you're all one. You all stand up, and it's you seem to be it's hard to breathe in here. You notice that right away. Some of you are choking.
Well, more than
A little bit right now.
I search for footprints.
Hold on. I need to describe them, and then you can go from there. So you're in a long, narrow chamber. It runs from east to west here. In the center of this chamber, this is a dome shape on the floor. In the east wall, there's a blank-faced stone door. Let me show you. Let me change this just a little bit, because I know you guys can't see quite everything.
Nice map. Where did we get those?
I got them from Nord Games Dungeon Tiles.
Nice.
So, yeah, they're pretty cool. And we will be using Mike Schley's note for the adventure going forward. I've just had to work something out with Mike to get them back, and I haven't had time. Well, I've had time to print, but not figure out the scale again. So that'll be fun. But the good thing is, Mike was really gracious and sent it to me after my subscription for the one ended, which I didn't know. But he was really cool and gave it back to me, and he gave me access again. So back to his maps for the next couple adventures. So that'll be nice. So thanks, Mike. So let me go back to this here. So like I said, across on the east wall is a blank-faced stone door. The west end of the room is blocked by this fallen stone rubble where you guys are stepping up here. That's the result of the collapse that you guys just came down. The two sides of the wall appear to have several niches cut into them. The shape in the center of the chamber appears to be a small alcove, protected by a half dome with the open end facing towards the door in the east wall. The alcove is recessed, shallow, tiled well, 1 foot deep and 10 foot wide. The alcove itself is 4 feet high. And inside this recess, there's some sort of display. Also, to your north and south, in those alcoves, there also seems to be some sort of displays here. They really, what they look like is, and it is dark here, so you guys aren't going to make out much until you get a little more detail. But it looks like they're figures on, almost like a diorama, different dioramas in each of these alcoves and in the center of this room. So now, what were you saying?
Search for footprints.
All right. One is dark.
I will assist.
So it's a stone floor other than the rubble. You're not going to see any footprints.
Okay.
You don't need to
cast light then.
All right. So perfect. You cast light.
You don't help me.
All right.
Away from you now.
You're not going to see any footprints.
22 survival.
No footprints. Definitely hasn't been, no one's been in this room other than you guys with what's collapsed here. However, you see in these displays, and first, and I'll tell you what's in there here in the center one. The display appears to be a diorama depicting a hunting party of warriors in feathers and deer hide garments in a mountainside scene. Some have pulled down a stag from the aid of a dog. Another group cleaning a small mule deer, and others have cornered a panther with spears. A scout seems to be watches the panther from an outcropping above, and he holds a metal staff with a loop in its end. It looks kind of like a shepherd's crook. The 3 notches on the northern wall and the southern wall are 5 feet wide and about 3 feet off the floor. Each niche contains a diorama depicting some aspect of tribal life. The 6-inch tall figures in all the displays appear to be made of stucco, realistically and brightly painted. The scenes portrayed represent fishing, farming, probably what you think is maybe religion, warfare, the creation story, and crafting. A cave-in completely blocks the west end that you guys just came down. At short intervals, there's some small rubble and dirt that spills into the room here behind you guys as you're looking over here. There are several large stones that appear to have wedged themselves tightly, closing the collapse.
Can we look up, Bill? Did we see daylight up there?
No daylight. You are completely in a collapse where you guys from behind you is completely collapsed.
So
there's no light.
Did we feel like we came down at a slant?
Yeah, you guys were like sliding down, rolling down in this rubble and rock.
That's why we didn't get hurt.
Yes, that's why you didn't get hurt.
Wow.
I have some sense about how deep we are.
That side is blocked off?
What is that?
To that side is blocked off? Or can we go down that way?
Behind us is
Like
blocked
those
off.
3.
To those alcoves?
Oh, those are just out.
Those are the alcoves where they're 3 feet off the ground and there's these dioramas in each of them. And then in the center of the room.
Erebus, you want to go check the door?
Yep. I'll stealth over to the eastern wall to the door.
How far down are we approximately, Bill?
Make a check here at disadvantage.
I would have it.
Huh?
21 survival.
Okay. Let's see what would that be?
You were rolling for something else, buddy.
At disadvantage?
Yep, at disadvantage. Kind of disoriented as you guys are rolling down. At disadvantage.
21.
11.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. 15.
All right. You both assume you're probably at least 50 to 100 feet underground, but you're not quite sure.
Okay,
Just from your rolling.
I'm gonna slowly start moving a little forward towards the door.
Relax there, half-orc. Erebus, can you go check the door?
Yeah, I said I'm gonna stealth over there.
Okay, so no problem. You go over to the door here. The door is carved with a sun symbol and appears to open into the room. There are hinges on this side and scratches on the floor, like something maybe tries to get out of here. There is no visible lock or handle on it, although a slight gap stretches across the top of the door. There's 8 holes that seem to have bored into the door. They all appear about 1 inch in diameter, but nothing can be seen in them. The door seems to be fairly thick and is arched. There is with a keystone at the top, so it's just an arch with a keystone here. But there doesn't seem to be
No writing.
no, there's no writing on the door. Give me a perception check.
Alright. So that is a 17.
Okay. So what you think is at over the door there might be a little hole up there. It looks like a little keyhole.
Oh, keyhole at the top.
Yes.
right, I'm gonna one by one go through each diorama and see if I can find a key.
Give me another perception check.
All right.
I won't have the light over there.
That's what I'm good at. Natural 20.
Oh,
28.
perfect. All right. So in the center of the room, with the diorama where you see this, what looks to be a shepherd, he has like a little knife in one hand and this shepherd stick. However, you think it's a key, and I'll show you guys the picture here.
Nice.
Wait, I can't see.
I'll show you in a minute.
Show them first.
Oh, that guy's adorable.
Yeah, little guy.
Wow. Excellent. And they're 6 inches tall.
And you
Yeah, they're 6 inches
do you
tall.
expect us to kill these people?
It's a little troll.
Yeah, and so you see that he's just holding this key, and it looks like you could just take it right out of his hand.
All right, well, before I get too excited, why don't I check to make sure there's no traps that are associated with pulling that thing?
All right, go ahead, give me a perception.
All right, that's good. 24.
Yeah, you're sure that there's no traps on this diorama at all, or an alcove of it, or anything, or touching it.
Did you check the door for traps?
I've been.
Yeah, you know the door's not trapped too. Yeah.
Okay.
With that roll.
Yeah, I did. I actually didn't specify the spell, but I would have pulled Jot out right away. Like,
Oh yeah, and that's the problem. Yeah, he crawled. When you guys fell, he crawled out and go. Well, he would have been out way before when he.
Yeah,
once
way before. Right?
Reinar left, he would have climbed out. So.
Okay.
But yeah, he's down
yeah,
here
so
with you.
I will. I'll pick up the key then.
Okay, no problem.
And then all of them spring to life and start attacking you.
All the tiny trolls attack us.
Oh, I thought you were placing the bad guy down. I was like, oh no.
No.
It's just Jack.
And then I'll go. Can I reach the keyhole, or will I need assistance to get that out?
For you, yeah, you're gonna need
Okay, I'll help.
some assistance for.
I'm gonna see if Jot wants to do it.
Jot's like, well, is it trapped?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Okay, then then I'll do it. I don't mind.
I was gonna take a look at these different dioramas and see what. You said one of them seems to depict a religious ceremony.
Yeah, so I can describe each one of them here. So the center display here, there is 12. It looks like 12 warriors. There's also, it looks like a mastiff, this dog, a panther, and yeah, this deer that they seem to be, clean in the diorama. And then the shepherd that had the key that's, there. And then Erebus, you just leave the figure there in the.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch anything else.
Okay, perfect. So then.
Wait, you're gonna leave it there?
No, I took the key. I'm
Took
leaving
the
everything.
key, he's leaving the little guy alone. So that's what
You're such a good luck charm. You just take it, put it in your pocket.
Okay.
Not for me.
Then, then let me,
You guys are all free to abuse the trolls as much as you want.
So then, so I'm going to go through the niches, going left to right for you guys. Yeah, so or right to left. So your guys, as if you're looking at the camera on the right-hand side. So the other opposite side of L for right now. So I'll go around the whole thing. So the first one, the closest one to where you guys came, it looks like a river scene. It seems to be a dozen, like probably farmers or whatever. They seem to be fishing with nets in a carved dugout. The next one, it seems like there's farmers. Once again, they seem to be planting what you think is probably corn and harvesting wheat. And there seems to be probably like 5 of these tribal guards that are standing near them. And there's one that Al, you assume is probably their priest, because he's in this huge bird costume and seems to maybe be blessing the fields for for corn and for the harvest here.
I take the warriors.
Can I go through the
sorry,
scenes, buddy? All right. The next display portrays a temple upon a tiered pyramid. You think maybe what you guys were approaching. There seems to be some farmers all bringing small offerings, and it's really well painted like gold and jade of what they have. Before the temple stands another one of these, what you think is one of their clerics or priests, and he's handling a snake. And around him stand 3 costumed tribal warriors. One dressed as a serpent, a winged serpent that holds a spear. Another is dressed as a bear with razor claws. And the third represents a coyote holding a torch. There are several stone statues of what you think is probably their gods. And yeah, like I said, you see in these offerings like bits of gold and jade in their little like they're holding baskets, bringing forth.
There was a bear and a coyote and what else?
One a winged serpent with a holds a spear, a bear with razor claws, and another one is dressed as a coyote holding a torch. The next niche across the room, this here is a scene of tribal warfare, and there seems to probably be about 20 tribal warriors in combat. 10 of the warriors of one side are painted black, while the 10 others are done in red. Warriors that are animated, you see that they're painted, red and black, very animated in once again these feathers, and one has sets of red and the other has sets of black feathers on them. In the next display, you think is what's depicting their version of the creation of the world. All the statues here are of non-human. And you see one with, it's like green with feathers, and it seems to have some sort of mixing of ashes with blood to form sculptures of man and women. And then there's 4 towering figures painted red, black, blue, and white. All stand about a fire, and they seem to be committing suicide with their daggers. 2 smaller figures are arranged by the 4, and there's one that's kind of a weird, is pimply out of this stucco here that's made. And while another one seems to cower in fear. The final scene shows various forms of crafting. It looks like, once again, farmers or just probably regular tribesfolk. Looks like they're busy weaving rugs and baskets, carving totems, making pots, grinding stones for weapons, and making clothes. So that is what you see in all of them.
You said red, black, blue, and white?
Yes.
Can I say what I do now?
Yes, Torn. What do you do?
Torn takes all the warriors and puts them in a bag.
So all of the warriors are all 6 inches tall.
Oh.
You saw the picture of it, right? There's a bunch of them. So the first one has 12 in the middle. The center display has 12 warriors.
I'll take 5 of them.
You want these mini things? They count weight. They're gonna weigh you down.
I'll actually take one.
Yeah, they're made of Steckle. They're kind of heavy. They're not light figures.
I'll take one. The what's it? The serpent? What is it called?
The serpents with the spear.
The one
Yeah,
warrior, the
serpent.
swinging serpent with the spear. Okay, we'll write that down in your character and you put that in your bag. All right, cool. All right. Anyone else doing anything?
So El's just going to study the one that appears to be their creation ceremony.
Okay.
So there's two figures in the center. One seems to be scared, and the other what?
The other one, yeah, just seems to, he's like almost in the sense being consumed by the fire. And there's another one that seems to be cowering in fear. Like they're sacrificing one in the fire, but he seems to be like, almost like maybe enjoying that he's being burned in the flames.
Okay.
Like self-sacrifice.
Got it. Alright. And no inscriptions anywhere that we can find?
Nope, no inscriptions.
No text of any kind anywhere.
No text at all. No, just these dioramas, all these just scenes, almost so in a sense of like going through a museum, today, where you could go see a diorama of what's going on, except there's nothing, there's no little brass plate kind of saying what it is.
Hey, Kit. Hey, Kit. I think these are pretty valuable, and maybe the artifacts that they wanted us to obtain while we were down here. Would you mind putting them in your bag?
Before she does that, can I look at the rest and see if I think there's any other potential keys?
Yeah, absolutely. Just go ahead and give me a perception check.
We get another natural 20.
There seems to be some sort of knocking behind one of you guys'.
Yeah, it's like a tap.
Tap. So.
If my theory is right, it is Cat's computer.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing on my computer right now.
All
No,
right.
I think it's your hard drive.
Oh, just an old computer. All right. All right.
No, this is a brand new computer.
Oh, now it's silent though. Okay. All right. Anyways, so Erebus. No, you don't find any of them else holding any type of key or anything like that. Most of them.
Kit, did you hear me?
I'm in tiger form at the moment.
Yeah, she's in tiger form. Remember? She can hear you, but she's tiger.
Don't make
Back. Come on, let's hear your tiger roar.
You want to borrow my bag? Is that?
Yeah, for now. Until she gets out of tiger form.
I'll hand it to you.
I was actually going to drop tiger form before I try to get around.
Oh, you can if you want.
But no, don't drop tigers.
Nope,
Yeah,
stay
but
in tiger
probably
form.
better off staying in it,
Okay.
because then you
You
don't.
only do it twice a day. So.
Yeah, you don't want to probably waste it. Because being in tiger form for what, 2 hours now, I think.
2 hours.
Yeah, so you don't want to waste that.
How many total figurines?
Let me give you a count afterwards. It's a lot.
Yep, that's perfect.
So everybody's
So,
gonna probably
we
way
take
down.
off.
Yeah.
I think we come back and forth.
Yeah, I think we might come back.
Well, I'll talk to him at the end. It's okay. All right, we got this.
So you just carefully pick each one
Yep.
up and put
Depends
them
on-
in.
I'm not gonna take the farmers or anything.
Just-
like the clerics, the three
Clerics, the
and,
warriors,
the gods.
the gods. Okay.
I might take the warriors.
But leaving all the farmers.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, except you have the one. And you wrote that down?
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
I have one.
Alright. Okay. So so Jot goes up and turns the key. Alright.
That's right. That's what I call it.
All right, so he turns the key. Erebus, you hear a click, like it unlocks. However, the door doesn't open.
All right. So now I guess I'll examine the eight openings in the door.
Okay.
And if those change or anything happened with those?
No.
Does it look like the stands could fit in? The figurines?
No.
No.
No, there's holes. They're about 1 inch diameter.
So too small for arrow slots, right?
Probably. I mean, it would be very, it probably would be too
Are they
small.
regular intervals or are they haphazardly?
No, they're regular intervals.
And so nothing changed. There was a clicking noise. So can I examine the lock? I guess I'll need a boost then, and I'll check out that key, the lock mechanism a little bit closer.
Yeah. So.
So can you jump on the back?
Okay. Yeah. I'll climb on the tiger. That's kick ass.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you balance up on the kitty's back there, and no, you think it's unlocked, but the door itself.
So I just think it's stuck, maybe.
Yeah, you think maybe it's stuck. It has to be open. You know, it has to be open this way, but there's no hinges on the door. Or not hinges, I should say. There's no handle on the door.
Okay. So can I loop a rope, squish it through one of the top holes, and drop it down and try to pull it through with my lock picks?
You don't think the hole actually goes all the way through the door?
Okay.
Elle is going to take a look at each alcove and search to see if there's maybe a door that just got unlocked, a secret door.
Make a perception check.
Here. That's 14.
Yeah, you're just not sure. You look at each of them, and you're just not sure if there's at least nothing that you can tell that there's a secret door in any of the alcoves there. However, you do notice, and all of you guys notice, you're still, it's hard to breathe a little bit, and there's definitely something in the air. But even now that you kind of cleared out the dust from the dirt and the dust and come out, and you guys have been searching this room, loading these things, but you do notice that it's definitely your lungs don't feel 100%.
Is it getting worse?
No, it just seems to be, you just kind of feel it, that there's something in the air.
All right, I'm going to pick up Elle's idea and go ahead and check each of the alcoves for a secret door as well, see if anything triggered based on that lock.
All right, go ahead. Give me a perception. I'll give you an advantage.
Okay, and then and I'll also check that central area where the key was to see if something happened underneath it.
Sure.
All right, as another natural 20.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Well,
Well,
up to last session.
yeah.
Roll over 5.
Yeah, so you search the alcoves and in the diorama in the center of the room, and you were positive that, there's no secret doors, nothing has changed from any of the dioramas other than, and I would still say Zazriel's probably still, carefully taking collecting some of these things out. But no, nothing has changed. So yeah, you were positive that there's there's no secret doors, nothing changed. The door's unlocked. It's just you have to figure out a way, maybe a force, to try to force open that door.
There's always dark.
Yeah, I was gonna say, give me an intelligence check there, Erebus.
Alright, that's pretty good too. That is an 18.
All right. So you think maybe doing something like maybe taking a piton and jamming it into one of those holes And then maybe, yeah, either Dar or, well, probably Torn because they're up high. Torn, you know, could try to pull the door open that way.
All right.
Through force.
Yeah, I've got a grapple hook. Maybe I could slam it into one of the holes.
Yeah. You think however you think it might be better if Torn does it. or
Sorry, Dark. Go ahead.
I've got this. Hold on. He reaches down into this bag that he's got, and he starts clink, clank, clunk, clunk. And he pulls out a little hammer. Next thing, clink, clink. He pulls out. I got a couple of these pitons and a hammer. You want to do that? Or do you need a crowbar?
I have a crowbar. I pull it one out.
I got that too.
You think the best thing here would work is a piton. You
Or
can put it right in there. If he has a piton, that's probably the best thing, and hammer it in a little bit, and probably just have Torn hammer it, and then try to open the door that way.
If this ain't big enough, I got an iron spike.
Okay. I think we're good. Let's do this. So we'll slam we'll have one of the strong guys slam the piton in, and then we'll try to have him pull on it.
All right.
Okay.
So it takes you about a minute just to get it in there. Tink, 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 in there. Give me a strength check as you grip this and try to open the door here.
Trebella's going to lay a hand on him and say, or Ella's going to lay a hand and say, Trebella, give him a little extra.
So it gets a D4 too, right?
Yep.
Perfect.
Nice job.
So it's too tall for me, right?
Yeah. What'd you roll, buddy?
An 11 total.
Final answer. Yeah, so you do manage to just barely open the door here, and it opens up into a hallway here.
With anybody in it?
And the hallway stretches about 20 feet and then turns north. From you guys here. The stone walls here of this corridor are carved to resemble what look like stack of bamboo-like logs, and seems to be carved from the stone here. So I would say, do you guys go down marching order or head down the hall?
I'm gonna try to hold the masses back and move forward without them.
All right, sure. So let me.
I may fail, but that's what I'll try.
Yeah, I'll be like, wait up, guys, I'm not done.
I'll pause. I'll hold everyone then.
All right. So perfect.
Yeah, no reason to spread out.
Yeah. So.
Hey, Bill, I'm going to collect my piton if I can back after the door's open.
That one's jammed in there. You're not going to get that out of there.
I was like, no.
Not even with a crowbar, huh?
Not even with the crowbar.
All right, down to 9.
Damn it, you lost your baton.
All right, down to 9. Next time, I think I'll just use this. Reach back into the bag and pull some big, humongous portable ram.
My goal is to get rid of all those pitons before the day.
Every door is gonna be jammed.
Every door jammed up.
Does the always is the air any clearer?
No. And give me. Sorry. Let me give this to you. Give me a. And I'm going to give this to Zazriel too. Both of you, why don't you give me a nature check here?
Oh, what? I'm not good at that. Okay, let's see it.
You gotta get it to Zazriel, but not to the barbarian.
19.
Not an
Zazriel's not the barbarian.
Yes, Zazriel.
Or the druid.
Or the druid. No, not in this
Just a 10.
case. All right, but you figure, Zazriel, that you're in cat form. You're not going to be able to tell the group anything. You think there's some sort of gas, some sort of poisonous gas that seems to be in the air.
I drew one of my potions that I grabbed earlier.
I'm like, what are you doing?
All right.
This air is not healthy to breathe.
How many potions?
We should move in. Why are you asking me? About
It seems to, even when you open up the door, it seems to also continue. Like it's heavier up in the ceiling here, and it seems to continue on.
And then I give Erebus my other one.
Wow.
All right.
Erebus, you should drink this.
I don't get spot. I'm just scared
Drink it
right
now.
now.
Did you hear him?
What do you say?
So you think you should drink it now?
Yeah, we're gonna head in here. It gets thicker and thicker.
Yeah. So that lasts an hour, if
I'll
I'm
be able to
correct,
see.
right?
Yep.
Alright, I'll drink it.
I'll be able to survive.
I think I have enough of these.
It'll be hard.
Huh? You're just gonna keep that there.
Yeah, just keep that
It just is a long hall. Oh, another door at the end?
So, let me describe here, Erebus, what you kind of see. So it looks, like I said, the stone walls of the corridor here are carved would resemble to be a stack of bamboo-like logs. The passage, as you go around the corner here, seems to slope down ever so slightly, and to a single door at the end of the hallway here, down the west here. And this, it seems to have been, it has been kind of crafted as to represent some sort of cavern entrance. And yeah, so actually the doors down below here that leads to a double doors of, it looks like beaten bronze. And it looks like resembles almost like a forest of seaweed, like on the door. It's a weird depiction on the door here.
Alright, so first I'm gonna check, do I think they're locked?
Yeah, if you go down there,
Yeah, I'll go down there. Is the gas getting weaker then since I'm going downhill?
no, it doesn't seem to be getting weaker.
Okay. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna walk down the passageway. I'll check every so often, make sure there's no traps, and when I get down there, I'll check out the door.
All right, sure. All right, go ahead and
I'll be behind.
yep, head on down. Go ahead and give me a perception check there.
Alright, 20.
All right, perfect. So you get down probably. Let's see here.
We're in trap.
So you get down to about 15 feet before the door. Right about there.
And you see what?
An arrow has come out.
And you find what you think is a pressure plate on the floor.
It's gonna be one of those dungeons. Slow and steady. Here we go.
This
So,
gonna take like 50
Elle takes out her ever burning torch
Okay.
and her mirror and is examining herself, like opening her eye, kind of looking to see what she thinks this poison is doing to us.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a nature check as well.
Not a medicine check, huh?
Not yet. What do you get?
12.
A 12. All right, let me see here. Yeah, not yet.
That's bad.
Yeah, you're just not sure. You can't discern really right now the toxicity of this gas that seems to be kind of in the air around you guys. However, when you when you pull out your torch, it does kind of flame up a little bit more, just for a second, just a brief poof. But that's kind of all you get from that right now. But you do go ahead and give me a healing check. I'll give you that too.
Medicine is a 17.
Yeah, so you think at some point you guys will probably start really feeling the effects, but not yet.
Just being the
Yeah, right now your eyes seem to be fine. They're not bloodshot. It's more right now you feel it more in your lungs than anything.
Sure. Okay.
I'll message back to Elle that send Tribellas up, please.
I mean, I should come forward.
Yeah, there's a pressure plate.
Okay. So I'll come forward.
Poor Elle.
All right. Put Kitty Cat behind it.
And then I'll be behind.
What?
I say, hold up, fighter. Do you see me going up there at all? You want to just step on a plate?
You remember the last time we found the trap and everyone was within 20 feet of it?
Right? Wait, no. Alright, so Elle's going to take the guidance of Tribella to you. And then she's also going to take a look at the floor and assist.
All right, so yeah, so go ahead and give me another perception check at advantage here. There it is.
And that is yet another natural 20.
Jeez, you're on
Oh my
fire. All right.
I tell you, last session though.
Nothing.
So what you think here is if you you're pretty sure that if this pressure plate is given, if there's enough weight put on it, you're not sure in a sense of how much weight. But you probably think a couple of people crossing over it. Not in the sense necessarily you. You think you could probably cross over it and not have a problem, but as more weight continues on it, it probably will release. And what you think is a log will swing out from either side of this trap here. So you think these bamboo stones will kind of smash in to whoever's in the center of it.
Torn, you're up.
And you also think though that if you had like two pitons, if you had two pitons, you could actually jimmy it and keep the pressure plate from being released.
I didn't bring any batons, I'm sorry.
Really?
I don't whirl like that.
I'll wander back to Gar.
I told you I'm gonna get rid of them all.
Dar, can I have two more spikes?
Really?
You can come trigger the plate. instead. I'll show you where it is.
I'll come trigger the plate. You stay back here.
That's not a good use of healing. Let me just have the metal fight.
Healing hell, I got a chance to dodge out of the way.
Darn. Let's just get this race over.
Erebus, you don't think there's no dodging out of the way of this thing.
Oh. I'll say I don't think so.
With your natural 20, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Pull the back. Eggs in the bag. Clank, clank, clunk. Here you go. Oh, that's a rubber chicken. What's that, bad kid? Reach the rest. There we go. Here's a couple
A rubber chicken.
Otherwise called it.
Thanks, Doc.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, there's my lunch.
And I'll wander back, and I'll try to explain a hand or whatever it's used to put those back in.
Yeah, you can actually even use your thieves picks here.
Okay, that's even better.
Yeah.
I could
Cool.
slam them.
I'll get Charbel to help me out on this one, too.
Oh, yes. Guide you and be fortunate.
And then back away, please, Al.
Press.
I'll kind of push
Yeah,
the
because you know that it's behind you, really. So
So I will move the tiger back.
all right. So Elle and the tiger will move back.
How long is the pressure plate? It's the whole width of the hallway.
Yes, it's the whole width of the hallway. So you do have to move about 10 feet back. He tells you about 10 feet back, and you'll be safe from if this thing goes off.
All right, and then I will try to do these tools. All right. Oh yeah, no problem. I rolled a 19.
Okay.
21.
Perfect.
31.
Yep. So you put the 2 pitons in. You know that you're secure. You know that without a doubt this is not gonna cause any effect that the group could cross without a problem other than taking the pitons back out. That would be about there would be the problem.
So then I will move. I will check the next squares just in case they were thorough. Make sure there's nothing there.
Okay.
And then I'll check out the door.
All right. Give me a perception check.
All right. Okay. No 20 that time. 21.
All right. Yeah. No problem. So you get to the door. It doesn't seem to be locked. They're double doors, as I said. There's these bronze double doors here. Yeah, and it's depicting on the doors. It's just weird, especially for you. Like, what is these? This plant life just seems to be kind of scurried on the door. Like Elle, and Kit probably like it looks like seaweed. And carved into the doors here. So
am I worried about water on the other side? Is this door, is it sealed tight?
Yeah, the door is sealed tight, yes.
There's no gaps or holes or anything?
No, and the door here, let me just see here how this door opens.
If it opens in the word wrong.
Yeah, no, you think the door just opens, these doors open inwards towards the room.
We're going downhill, right?
Yeah, you're going down a slight slope.
All right, yeah, so we're fine.
Elle, you studied the dioramas. Does this make any sense to you?
No. Yeah, no.
Yeah, we referenced nutrition.
Yeah. Yeah, you saw the river scene, but this is, it's just a weird.
It's going downhill.
Yeah, it just seems to be really just kind of just. It looks like a forest of seaweed growing on these doors,
All right. I guess I'll try to open it then. We already checked for traps, right?
Yeah, there's no traps. Doors unlocked. You can open the doors.
Try to push it in.
All right, so you push in the doors, and this
Pushes down and back up the hill, then back down.
the room is constructed of large stone blocks, buttressed in the corners. The walls are wet and slimy, and mud covers most of the floor in a thin coating. To the east and the west, you will see doors recessed in the walls, kind of like the door that you're opening here. And to the north of you, across the room here, there seems to be a set of stairs leading down. In the center of this chamber sits a large polished boulder amid a pile of smaller rounded rocks. The boulder is about 5 feet tall, colored brown with dark streaks and spots.
Been through this street.
Leaning, what's this?
Been down this alley before.
Leaning against it, what appears to be a bamboo staff. And in the mud around the base of this boulder is a moving shape, looking like a crayfish or lobster, a giant one, and is facing you and seems to be aware of your presence. And it seems to be trying to make some sort of communication, and then snapping its claws, its beaks. It seems to be it seems to be trying to talk to you, except you do not understand this language at all.
Okay, Dar, you need to start talking to animals.
I'm gonna back out and let someone else deal with this.
Hey, Kit, you want to go talk to it?
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna move back, but I want to look at the ground. Any tracks? I'll have Zaz come up. Even that creature's tracks.
21.
No, you
You can see the
closer to it, yeah, you'd see what this thing is probably just crawled around along the floor, but not really at the doors here. But yeah, it's a thin coating of mud along the floor. You assume that it's very the floor probably really slippery. So yeah, so that's what you see. Like I said, yeah, you see this giant crayfish just looking at you.
So no one has come in from this side since there's mud. The tracks would be obvious.
Yeah, no tracks.
You guys want to kill
All
it?
right, I'm gonna close the door gently and then tell everyone there's a crayfish that wants to talk to us on the other side. I don't even know crayfish. There's some sea animal that wants to talk to us.
Yeah, you've never seen this thing. Yeah, some sort of sea monster.
This is Dar Kit. You can go talk to your animals.
I might kill it.
And then who gave us water breathing previous? It was you, right, El?
Yep.
And then I'm gonna throw that out there. El, what do you think about water breathing? I'll be back. You guys figure this out.
You're on mute, girl. Get food out of your mouth and talk to me.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Are you gonna go talk to this thing?
I'm still in tiger form.
Yeah, she's still in tiger form.
All this happens to pull out a piece of string.
I'm sorry.
I did that.
Someone grabs
So
up.
Dar, you want to start rolling around in the mud again and then go talk to the crayfish?
I'll walk over and
Go roll around and sneak me.
Bill,
Yes.
I'll go over and walk over to the door and go in there and close the
door and watch.
And then I'll go ahead and perform my little ritual so that I can speak with animals.
Okay.
See if that works.
Closed or unclosed?
So we actually see him go in, close the door, and then 10 minutes pass?
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, you guys can.
Well, after a minute passes, we'll check on him and be like,
I mean, we know rituals take 10 minutes. We've seen it, so I guess I'll put my ear to the door and try to listen.
Alright.
You'll hear lots of little click, 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 clack, 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 like clamshells being clapped together and things like that.
I start scratching at the door, like, let me in.
I'm too busy performing my ritual to do anything.
I
Alright.
look at the one that has his ear pressed against the
All
door,
right.
let me in.
I'm just holding my hand. Wait.
Alright. So yep, so after your 10 minutes, yeah, you guys just listening, you know, through the door or whatever, maybe have it cracked open a little bit. To listen. So Dar, you're gonna get this from it. It will say, oh, no. Who is this? Who dares to enter the chamber of the guardian? You had better go, or I have to discharge my sacred duty. So be off before I lose my temper.
Who's the guardian?
I am the guardian.
How big is this thing?
It's a giant crayfish, so it's pretty big. Probably about 9 to 12 feet, you know, in height on this rock.
That's double my size.
It's moving around.
I give a bow and I say, "Oh, great guardian, what is it you protect?"
I protect this chamber. No.
What's in this chamber you call it that's worth protecting?
I will not tell you that. Click, click, click. Be gone. Leave here. Click, 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 click. But click, 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 click.
I love sushi.
Magnificent, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Click, click, click. I am the guardian. Click, click.
I love sushi. Sushi.
So you don't have to tell me, but I mean, it just seems weird that you'd be standing here trying to protect something that nobody knows about.
That is my duty. I am the guardian. Click, 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 click,
Who
click.
gave you that duty?
I don't know. Click, 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 click. You can leave. Click, 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 click.
If nobody gave you that duty, then how is it that you have that duty? It seems like it would be something that would be a task given to you.
It was given to me. Click, click, click,
By
click.
who?
I don't know. Click, 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 click.
But
But
if you don't know, then what is it? Why would you have to guard something? Wouldn't you rather be out swimming around in the ocean?
I have not seen the ocean in some great time. Click, 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 click.
What if I could help you find a way to get out of here to go find the ocean? Would you have to?
I am sworn to protect the chamber. Click, click, click. Now, as I said, before I lose my temper. Click, 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 click.
What'd you swear to?
You need to leave. Click, click, click. I am sworn to protect the chamber.
Already busted.
Well, I just want to help you out of here.
I don't need your help. Click, click. Are you gonna stay here with me and protect the chamber?
Well, that might not be such a bad idea. I could protect the chamber with you if you could tell me what it is we're protecting.
And your friends? Click, 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 click.
I could tell them that they have to protect the chamber if I only knew what was in the chamber to protect in the first place.
None of your business. Click, click, click. Like I said, if you wish, you can go beyond, but you may not come closer to me. Click, click, click.
Can we look, I don't necessarily care about the passage. I'm more concerned with what's in this chamber, but What's on the other side of this chamber?
I don't care. Click, click, click. You can go.
Would it be alright if I and my friends were to just pass quietly through the chamber and go to the other side?
I am fine with that. Click, 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 click. You can go either any of the ways through here, but do not come towards me at the center here of this chamber, or I must attack you, and I will kill you. Click, 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 click.
Well, alright.
I will not fight you or any of your friends. Click, 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 click. As long as you walk along the sides of the walls to the other doors or the stairs behind me. Click, 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 click.
Has anybody else been by here?
No! Click, 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 click.
No other dwarves like me or weird looking pointy-eared things?
No! Click, 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 click. You are
I won't try to come closer, but
you are called a dwarf. Click, 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 click.
what?
You are called a dwarf. Click, 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 click.
Yes, I'm a dwarf.
What is a dwarf? Click, 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 click.
A dwarf is me.
You are a small click, click, click person.
What I lack in height, I more than make up for in strength.
Okay.
So, can I go get my friends and we pass quietly through here? We don't come near you and don't try to get close to you?
Yes, you may pass. Click, 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 click.
Well, thank you. I'm going to tell my friends that. I shall be right back.
All right.
Then I go out the door and I close it behind me. Nobody go in. Let us talk for a minute here.
So,
This
15
critter,
minutes.
it's a little crazy.
It's good.
It's about 9 or 10 feet tall. Looks like a big piece of dinner. But it doesn't want us to come close to it or touch it. It's guarding the chamber, it says. But we can go through as long as we go around with it and don't try to get close to it. Otherwise, it says it's going to kill us.
Alright.
I just think the poor critter's a little crazy.
Yeah, and it looks a little slippery in there, so I don't want to be fighting anything in there.
Yeah, we probably would be best to just try to quietly go through on the side. Except nobody else has been around through there, so I don't know if he hasn't seen anybody else. He didn't know what a dwarf was either. I tried to explain it to him, but he's like you said, he's a little nuts, so.
Do you trust him?
Best if we just sneak around along the edges of the walls to the other side.
Do you trust him?
Trust him? He could have attacked at any time, but he chose not to. He said, don't come close to me. I don't want to hurt you, but so, I mean, unless it's some kind of a, maybe he's lying, maybe he's not so big and tough to see.
Yeah, he just seemed to stay in the center around this large rock in the center of the room. That's where he seemed to stay. He didn't advance towards you whatsoever.
Yeah, he said, don't come near me, don't come close to me. So I think he just wants to be left alone, but, well, I know this group. So,
Else should we do water breathing anyway?
I was going to ask Bilbo. You went in there and sat down, started tapping. It's been like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So at 2 minutes, Elle seeing the odd, growth is just going to do a ritual of water breathing.
Okay.
He's just, that's really not something we want to see.
Round two of Sasku.
Okay. No problem.
So, and he'll hit everybody. Actually, she'd have to peek into the dark.
That's fine. I said the door is kind of ajar, so you guys can listen. So,
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be fine. I'll do that. That's not a problem.
All right. Cool.
Who got sushi
Okay.
this thing?
Alright,
I think we go past it.
yeah, let's go around it.
Like sushi.
At this point, we can do that
We move around it.
later. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna try to. I'll lead.
Yeah.
can I ask a favor? Is there anybody in this group who can detect magic?
Oh, no, I don't care. We go through. I'm not waiting for that.
Why not?
I have something on me. Push for time right now.
I wait.
Why
What's for time right now?
Because there's this gas in the air, and I do not want to be waiting here in this room for 30 minutes.
Gas? Somebody cut the cheese?
I feel like we're gonna be down here a long time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the less the better. Let's not make it longer. The less the better.
10
minutes versus 10 hours?
We either go kill the crawfish or we wait the 10 minutes, or we don't
I'll
wait.
cast detect magic without doing it under ritual.
Okay.
Oh, so you just get us.
There we go.
All right.
I'll try to do it to make sure there's no traps along the way.
Okay. So the question is, you have 3 options from this room. Okay, so you're gonna go to the right.
No more less.
No more or less.
We're going to the right.
All right.
Well, what
All right.
magic does he get?
There is no magic.
Oh, not even on the rock?
No.
So you guys don't want to wait for time.
So you skirt around to the right to the door there. And this here, this here is a single door here. In fact, the other doors that you see, and even Erebus at the bottom of these stairs, you see off to the north, which is the opposite side of where you guys are initially coming from. There is also a single door at the bottom of the stairs that's about 10 feet down. So this door here, though, on your east, let me see here. Yeah, so it's a door. Go ahead and give me a perception check on the door just to make sure it's not trapped or anything.
There's nothing. Alright, that's a pretty shitty 11.
Okay. You don't think it's trapped or locked.
Alright. I'll push people back a bit and I will try to unlock it.
All right. So, yeah. So in here, it's another corridor here heading down, and it you see it goes probably about 60 feet and then turns off north again. 10-foot wide hallway. The walls here along this corridor are wet and slimy. The stucco covering has been saturated with water and is decomposing. And it seems to also be, just kind of almost, in a sense, coming right off like the walls are deteriorating here along this hallway.
Alright, so I'm going to go back to the group and say the walls look bad. Should we go to the next door?
How bad does that look?
Yeah, they definitely, Erebus, the walls, I mean, it definitely seems like they're, like I said, decomposing.
Yeah, let's move on to the next
It
one.
doesn't, you think it's probably not the safest thing. It's not that they all float down here, but pretty close.
Yeah, it's coming. I can see that. So, unless someone objects, I'm going to keep skirting around to the counterclockwise to the next door.
Okay, so you guys are gonna not, so the next one is down the stairs to the door, or are you guys gonna go backwards?
Great. No, let's keep going.
Okay, so just coming around the corner. Yep, and it just. Yeah, he's just watching you guys as you guys are going. He's just moving along the rock, just watching, and then just clicking his claws, and that's all. That seems what all he's doing. What do you say, Dar?
So my guardian friend, my kid's still running, I think, unless it's done already.
How long does it last?
I think it lasts. Where is
animals is 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay. So it's on for 10 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, so it's still going.
Okay. So my newfound guardian friend, where do all these passages go?
Click, 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 click. I don't know. Click, click, click. I am the guardian of this room, not the guardian of down any of these hallways here. Click, click, click.
Okay, I just thought I would ask, has anybody ever come through here and gone down any of these passages? Anybody at all?
No one. Click, 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 click. I am the guardian. I would kill anything if they come at me. Click, click, click. Nothing has come at me.
I'm not coming at you, I promise.
All right.
Alright.
Okay. So here, so down these stairs at the landing here at the foot of this short flight of steps heading down is filled at the landing with mud and silt that seems to partially block the door leading north. The door is meant to open inward, but their hinges on this side of the door are large grip to pull on. So yeah, I mean, you think you can open this door, but
Force.
yeah, you probably think it's another force. It's
Okay.
not locked.
Oh, I'll try and force it open.
Alright, I'll back up and let Torn do his thing.
All right, go ahead.
Natural 19 on the die, so that'll be just 22. 22.
Okay. All right, so you go down there and try to push into the door. However, as you try to push in, you can't open the door, and you're actually now you seem to be stuck in this mud and silt on the ground, about a foot.
Can I try and get out?
Yeah.
Skill check?
Go ahead and give me a strength. Give me
Escape?
what's it? No.
Athletics?
Athletics.
Yeah, that's escape.
No, just give me
Just give me the roll.
A 12.
Okay. Yeah. No.
It's just mud.
You're like you can't move. You're just stuck, stuck in this mud and silt on the.
Looks like he's stuck in guardian poop.
Alright, we'll
Click, 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 click. Ah, click, click, click. You can leave him. Click, 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 and I'll eat him later.
Torn, what is that?
Oh, they're gonna leave me? So can I try and escape?
No, you can't escape. You're stuck. Sorry, buddy.
But I have a battle axe now.
All right, so you guys gonna keep walking around.
Go to the west door.
Hey, I have my shield up and axe up, ready if that thing comes at me.
Alright.
Well, you have backs to it, so it doesn't matter.
And he's in, it took the extra amount of strength to get him stuck in it.
It seemed, yeah, when he went down into it and tried to push the door open, and the door didn't give at all, and now he seems to be stuck in it.
But I'm just ready to block from that.
And then when you try to get out of it,
Yeah, when he tries to get out of it, he can't.
But I'm
He
trying.
can't seem to lift his legs out right now.
Look, I turn to face the.
No, you can't even turn to face. You're like,
Can I put my shield behind you like this?
sure, if you want, you can hold your shield like
And my axe is ready to just stab me.
Alright, so he's playing Twister. Tori's playing Twister over here.
You can use that shield for something useful. Pretend it's a shovel and start digging yourself out.
Alright.
Okay, actually no, I'm gonna just try and do it.
Alright, so but the rest of you guys move on to the next story.
Yep.
You guys aren't gonna help me. That's just rude.
what do you expect us to do? We're in just 3 weekends and then we got dark.
We
Yeah,
found you in a dungeon, we leave you in a dungeon.
Alright. So you open this door here,
Okay,
and this room seems to also be wet. The walls are covered with slimy white buildup. There is about an inch and a half of water and mud blanketing the floor. There's many overturned pedestals and pieces of broken statuary lie on the floor, partially buried in the mud. Opposite of the entrance to this room is another door. Only one pedestal remains standing in the northwest corner. On it sits a small metallic three-sided pyramid. Overhead in the shadow draped ceiling are inclay colored tiles depicting a starry sky, forming a strange pattern in the areas above the pedestals.
So you said there was mud across the entire floor?
Yeah, so it's water, mud, and as I said, it's probably, sorry, what did I say, how thick it, or it's about 1.5 inches of muddy water that blankets the floor. The room's about across from this room, and I'm sorry, I didn't even look at this part. So first off, you open that door, it goes, it's a hallway, it goes about 20 feet, and it goes down some stairs, about 10 feet of stairs to another door. And in that, when you open that door, is where you see this muddy room and this pedestal. And then across the room, and it's probably about another 30 feet or so across, opposite here to the west from you guys. You guys are on the east side of the room. On the west side of the room is another door leaving, exiting this room.
So it's 10 by 30 roughly?
No, the room's about 30 by 30.
Okay. And the water is actually fairly shallow.
Yeah, muddy. It's a muddy, shallow water. You can see it's probably about 1.5 inches thick.
So we won't get trapped, but if there were any pressure plates or anything, it might be hard to find.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how today's gonna be. Just doing everything.
Or just pools that are sitting there. It's
Whole deeper sections, right?
All right, somebody around here that was climbing on walls once.
Yeah, both cat
Back
and
in the caves. Who was that?
well, both of us were.
Daryl.
Should we go drag Torn free?
Yeah,
What? So you can send him in there to step on any press plates for us?
exactly.
Sure.
That'd be brilliant.
I'll go help get him. Give me a second.
And maybe see if Kit will go with you. She's probably pretty strong in that form. You can tie a rope around her and pull him free.
Yeah.
He reaches down to his back and pulls it. I'm just going to dig him up with his shovel.
That's hilarious.
I'll sit back up, puts it back on his back, walks over and says, "Here, I'll start digging you out, old man."
All right. Yeah. So yeah, you can. Yeah, actually, if you kind of just dig them out, just throw the mud off up the stairs a little bit or off to the sides. You'll eventually, maybe about 5 minutes or so, you'll be able to yank them out of there and get out
I
of there.
knocked your arrow in the headshot. Just kidding.
Well, I'm gonna find a little water, rinse off my shovel, and reach back in my bag and pull out a little towel and dry off my shovel. Put the shovel back in the bag, and then I'll head over there. Hey, but they want you to walk through this room and try and see if it's safe for everybody.
Okay, I'll do it.
Cool.
So when I see the mud, I'll be like, I'm gonna snowboard this on my shield. And just slap through the roof.
Okay.
Just slap.
Yeah, so as I said, to the northwest is the only pedestal that seems to be remaining here in this. And that pedestal is off from the door, probably about 5 feet from the door.
Dark vision?
Yeah, there's this small, you guys got some light out right now. some small metallic 3-sided pyramid that seems to be on it, and then it's overhead. It's the ceiling and stuff is kind of colored tiles depicting a starry sky, forming some sort of strange pattern. Probably in a sense, once again, probably in the sense of maybe they're gods. Somehow maybe they're
First, I
gods
slide
sitting down
toward the
here on
pyramid, like the pyramid on the pedestal, and I'll be like.
So what are you gonna do?
I slide towards the pedals.
Okay, along the mud and the...
Yeah, just slide on my sheet.
All right, go ahead and give me
Athletics?
no.
Acrobatics?
Acrobatics. Check to see if you can shield the...
19 total.
All right, so amazingly, somehow, you pull it off where you go kind of running a little bit and slide across the room on your shield. And then from the ceiling here in the northwest, all of a sudden this large mass of greenish algae comes piling down on Torn on the ground.
Do I slide past it? Can I try?
No, it's on top of you, buddy. Just this big thing of green slime.
Is it attacking me?
Just put the die down.
Covers
Covers you. You're not going to be able to parry. And that's where we will end for the night.
What? That was hilarious. I pull off the slide and then algae just drops down on top.
It's green slime.
Oh yeah, I hate those things.
I got attacked by ooze already.
Ooze down slime. Yep. Thank you, Torn.
I'm not wasting my spear on this one.
Yeah, you're kidding right now, so yeah. Yeah.
That's the protector of that room.
Yeah, you can't see you anymore. That's for sure. All right. So let's quickly kind of go around the room here. Give out shout out to MVP for tonight's fun little episode here.
Come on, I brought out the slime.
All right. Let's start with Torn, Mr. Slime.
I guess I have to vote Airbase for figuring out how to have me open the door.
All right. Zazriel.
Dot for his commentary with the crawfish and being able to get Torn out.
All right.
And having the batons with us.
Yeah. I'm going to get rid of all of them by the end of it. L.
I gotta give it to Dar for talking craw.
All right. Valiant. Did you drop? I think you dropped.
Yeah, we lost him a little bit ago.
All right. Kit.
I have to go Dar for the laughs.
All right. Dar.
I gotta go with the old man there, Torn. Our friend Chucky was pretty good at finding tracks for us.
Who are you talking about?
He's always there. And Erebus.
Dar was funny and prepared. Nice job.
Yes, I have to definitely give this to Dar too. This gives you when you want to use it, you can choose your initiative score.
Oh, I got 2 of those now.
Wow, you have 2 of them. Wow. Okay.
Wait, no, no.
You're gonna just get experience by.
Yeah.
And you'll get some serious experience next week when the slime's all over you.
I'll clean through the thing. Like,
So we will be back
I have a magical battle axe too, so I'll be able to
next Wednesday night, 7:30 Central Time. Sorry we started a little late, but the little guy had to play guitar for us. But we'll be back next Wednesday at 7:30.
I'll be playing.
So looking forward to that. And with that, we will sign out for the evening. Also, just really quick, hey, if you're watching us on Twitch, please hit the follow button. If you're watching this on YouTube later on, also hit the subscribe button. We're a growing channel, trying to get some more people watching us, and I hope you find this entertaining. I sure did tonight. So with that, we sign out. Remember,
it's cool to be a geek, and I beat him to it.
Pass it on. Good night.